Hey guys, welcome back to some more Football Manager 2019. I'm Joe, if you're new around here, or Captain Goodspeed, and welcome to part 3 of my Football Manager Predicts the Future series. This time we have 250 years in the future. You just can't comprehend it, can you? It's a quarter of a millennium in the future. We'll be long gone by this point, unless somebody finds the path to immortality before the end of our lifetime. We'll be long gone, long forgotten, and 250 years in the future. The year 2269 in Football Manager Touch 2019. That is what we are using. So, thank you for all the support on the series so far. I have just checked something before we go into it, because I want to go through the world record transfers in this episode, because I haven't done that in the first two so far. But the Premier League first, you can see Newcastle have won the most recent one, but actually, really interestingly, there's some quite little teams in here. There's Brentford, Scunthorpe's quite a surprise, Leyton Orient, Preston, Coventry, Southend, Walsall as well. And look how low the points totals are for the sort of bottom 7 teams, none of them getting above 40. And Preston survived on 28 points, which is actually crazy. I mean, they lost 24 games this season, but Newcastle winning it, losing only once against Brighton, drawn 11 times as well. That's pretty crazy. West Ham, Arsenal and Chelsea rounding out the top 4. So let's have a look at the past winners over the last 150 years. So we left off around about here, where Newcastle actually won it then as well. Tottenham had a little spell. Watford, West Ham winning it as well. West Ham there again. Man City and Chelsea. I'm basically looking for massive shocks, to be honest with you. We're seeing spells of domination from Chelsea there. And wow, look at this from Watford. Watford absolutely dominated the Premier League in the early 2200s. Wow, that is crazy. And then they finished second a bunch of years, and then came back and had another dominant spell in the 20s. Boy, look at this. Man City and Watford traded Premier League titles until 22-33, all the way from 22-01. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Brighton won the Premier League as well. They've won 3 Premier League titles and finished runners-up on a bunch of occasions as well. And then Newcastle have come back in the last few years to have their own sort of dominant period, I guess. But very interesting to see the shift in English football. Man United haven't won it for... I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how we're going to look. Shall we have a look at the Premier League and see when was the last time they won it? Let's just have a look at their overview, see if they got relegated at any point. Because that is one of the big things that we haven't seen yet, is the fall of a massive club. Now, Man United last won the Premier League in 2075. They haven't won it for nearly 200 years. That is insane. Wow. And the Champions League, 2054. Whew. When was the last time they won a trophy? 2253, so not too long ago they won the FA Cup. What about the Carabao Cup? 2211, okay. Sky Bet Championship? Okay, 1975. I thought maybe they'd been relegated, which I know would please a hell of a lot of people in this video, I'm sure. Let's have a little look at the World Cup. That's probably the next most interesting thing. Has the landscape of world football changed? Not particularly. Oh, actually, hold on. We need to scroll up a bit. So we left off with Brazil winning 3 in a row. Now, Romania have won a World Cup in 21-26. Egypt second. Italy third in their own World Cup. But Romania, wow. England have won it a couple of more times. Colombia winning it. That's a bit of a shock, I guess. Argentina. First time in a long time, Argentina. Actually, no, they won it in 2074. What do I know? Colombia winning it again. England as well, getting up there. Germany 4-5. That's pretty impressive. And Spain on a little bit of a dominant streak as well. Australia finishing third at the World Cup. So there's definitely some very interesting results there. Brazil still the most times winners with 15. Most matches won in a row was 24. Most matches lost in a row is Saudi Arabia, and that's actually it has been finished. Most matches without winning, Iraq, 63. Oh dear. Oldest goal scorer, that hasn't changed. Youngest goal scorer has Bastien Obawapa for Togo in 21:30. Fastest goal, 9 seconds, by Ibrahim Boyaki. But boy, there is some fantastic records in there. Most overall goals in a World Cup is Abeche in 2038. Most goals in a match as well is still Oleg Salenko from 1994. So 250 years into the future, that record has still not been broken. Let's have a look at the European Football Championship, or as we know it, the Euros, and see how this has changed. See if Romania maybe had a little bit of a spell in this one where they won, but it doesn't look as though England have won it. Italy, Holland, Switzerland, I guess, is the biggest one in there that have won it. The biggest shock in this one, which is interesting. England have actually hosted it for once. Hosted it back in 2172. They've hosted a few, but I think this one in 2028 was their first hosted one since 1996. So, yeah, pretty crazy. So not much happening in the European Championship. Let's have a look at the Spanish First Division, or La Liga. Barcelona winning it again. Now, they were absolutely dominant, and it looks like they still are. But let's head down 150 years and see if anything actually has happened. Real Madrid have won it for the first time in a long time. Atletico Madrid winning it as well. But Barcelona are just winning it serially. It's incredible the spells of dominance that they've been able to hold on the league. It's crazy. I wonder when the last time they finished below third was, because I just can't see it. I mean, they finished third there, and that's the lowest they've finished in the last 20 years. That is insane. Oh, how have they done it? Celta Vigo have won it. Oh, wow. Finally. Look at this, though. They finished second a number of years. So Vigo are a top club now, or were, at least, and they were battling it out with Barcelona every year, which is great. Valencia have come along as well, but Barcelona seem to have just stepped up a level as well. Real Sociedad have won it. Obviously, they've got their wrong name, but they have won it for the first time in about 200 years, very recently. But Barcelona once again have gone on an absolute maniacal streak, and it looks like Real Sociedad came out of nowhere really and just won it one year. If we have a little look, I don't know exactly when they did win it, but yeah, they don't seem to have improved as a club because of it. Let's have a little look at Serie A and see if Juventus have come back. Somebody was complaining in the last episode saying Juventus are underpowered, and look at this, they've come back with a vengeance. They didn't win it for quite a while. Well, actually, they won some in the last episode, I guess. Somebody was saying they should be stronger, but I disagree, They could quite easily drop off in 100 years' time. But look at this, Juventus and Inter Milan, Napoli and Roma. It looks like there's not been any massive shocks in Serie A. Udinese winning it in 22-02, I guess, is probably the biggest one. They've won it again in 22-14. But Juventus, that is quite the spell of dominance from Juventus. It's similar to Barcelona. If we have a look at their graph, I'm pretty sure it'll look very similar. They had 1 year where they finished 6th, really weirdly, but have just completely dominated that league, which is crazy. We will have a look at the Manager Hall of Fame as well, because I know that that's something we haven't really checked. Now, have Celtic continued their absolute unbroken dominance of the Scottish League? This is stupid, lad. Brooks. There we go. Here we are. Oh dear, Dundee have won it. I just can't believe that Celtic have won it this many times. Hibernian there, winning it. Dundee. They seem to lose 1 in every 20, and wow, how many did they win in a row here? From 2062 all the way. Oh my god, they won over 100 in a row. All the way to 2178. Oh no. Celtic, you disgusting creatures. They won the Champions League. Oh, that was in 1967. Oh my god, find me a better screenshot than that. Celtic have won 294 Premiership titles. When did Rangers last win? That's what I want to know. Have they got the rivalries on here? Affiliated. I don't know how else I'm going to find. There they are. There's Rangers. Have they won it in this save? I'm inclined to say no. They won it in 2045 and 2058. I beg your pardon. Oh dear, Scotland. Whew. Bundesliga. Let's see if anything interesting's happened here. Leipzig. I mean, the Bayern Munich, again, nowhere to be seen. By the looks of it. But yeah, we finished off around about here. So, Wolfsburg and Leipzig continuing their domination. Schalke as well. And as I say, I can't see Bayern Munich anywhere on here. I mean, those 3 clubs just seem to swap. Bayern Munich 22-52. That's their first title for a long, long time. And they've only won 4 of them. But at least it's now a 4-horse race by the looks of it. But yeah, Leipzig have won a fair few. The records, yeah, Leipzig have took over the record in the Bundesliga. What about Ligue 1? And then we'll go on to have a look at the Manager Hall of Fame, and we'll also look at the leading transfers to see if we've had a £200 million player since Neymar. But interestingly, Paris Saint-Germain feature less on this than you would imagine, and I think the French league has actually been the best. We will have a look at Champions League as well. I realise we haven't done that yet in this episode, but you can see Nice winning some, Metz, Montpellier, Angers, Stade de Reims, Paris Saint-Germain, Lyon, Guingamp. I mean, this is fantastic to see the variety in French league winners in a league that's had such domination the last few years. Lorient, Marseille as well, Strasbourg. This is fantastic. Bordeaux, Nantes. we're just it's named the French team here. Dijon, Lille, Saint-Étienne. This is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, and whoever this is, SM Kane, I'm sure they had a rise through the ranks in last year's predicting series as well, and Lens winning the most recent one. Let's have a look at the records. So Paris Saint-Germain have won the most amount of Ligue 1 titles, which is to be expected, I guess. Champions League. Let's have a look at this. It's Champions Cup, I think. European Champions Cup. So, wow. Wolfsburg and Lens win it recently. Let's scroll down to where we left it off last time. So Angers have managed to win one, Barcelona as well, Leipzig, Spartak Moscow. That's a pretty obscure one. Stade de Reims dominated. Wow. Lyon, Barcelona, Schalke, Chelsea, West Ham, Sporting Lisbon, Schalke, Guingamp. I mean, the Spartak Moscow won it again. The French league sort of variety is really helping them push to the next level. Now, VDFC, who on earth are these? Hungarian division? What? VDFC have won the Champions League. Wow. And they've won 2 Euro Cups as well. So, all of a sudden, this team from Hungary have come out of nowhere and won a Champions League, and then finish runners-up. What? Well, that takes the cake, really. That is the most surprising one, or is it? Who on earth is this? The Israeli Premier League, Hapoel Beersheva. What? They've won 5 Euro Cups. And the Club World Championship, of course. Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting the likes of that. Oh, are you kidding me? The Danish Superliga as well? What? What is happening? What happened in those seasons? Let's have a look at the final. They won on penalties. What sort of teams did they play? This is just really weird. They played the Israeli team, Maccabi Tel Aviv. Israel's league must be good now, because they've had 2 in there. Wow, look at the state of this. Partizan Belgrade as well. This is crazy. Look at the shape of the Champions League in whatever year that was. 22-17. That is weird, but also really good to see. Let's have a look at the most recent one. Let's see. But see, that looks more believable. Except you've got a couple of Danish teams in there. So I'm wondering whether Britain have got less Champions League spots. Well, they don't seem to. Very, very interesting. Anyway, let's now have a look at the world leading transfers, and then the Manager Hall of Fame. And then we'll finish off this particular part. But it has been really, really fun. But here are the leading transfers then. So we have had a 200 million player, Louis Lyon, only 20 years ago or so, as well in game, all from Vigo, the top 3. Maybe that's how they came about. They've gained 600 million out of player transfers. That is crazy. But yeah, they go down to 159 million, so not exactly, I guess, too surprising. The leading transfers, they're not too different from now. You know, if you think of how many players in the last few years that have been over 100 million, it's only a matter of time before we've got a list like this where there's this many. But 200 million signing, Louis Lyon from Vigo to Barcelona, which is pretty crazy. Let's have a look at the Manager Hall of Fame before we finish off. The Worldwide Hall of Fame, Diego Simeone is top after his spells at Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, Barcelona, Estudiantes, FC Bayern, Inter Milan, Liverpool, Manchester United and River Plate. Wow, he's top of the list. There's this guy called Gonzalo Prada, who had a pretty stellar career as well. winning Premier League titles with Watford. Actually win the Champions League with them as well. But the likes of Pep Guardiola still up there, Allegri, Conte, Ancelotti, Alex Ferguson is still 12th, Jurgen Klopp is in there as well. After Liverpool, he went on to manage Man City. Wow, he stayed in Liverpool till 2032. Went to Man City, Real Madrid, Leipzig, which is actually really... Oh, he must have went back to Liverpool then. Let's just have a look at that before we go. It looks like Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool and rejoined at some point. This is probably going to break the game. I've just realised how many managers they've probably had. Oh my word, right. At least he's the first. So Jurgen Klopp left manager role in 2020 and then he came back in 2029 and stayed till 2033. Which is really cool. João Moutinho there, Per Mertesacker as well. Delight in there, Idrissa Gueye. I'm trying to see the last side of any real players as we go on, but I don't seem to see Vitor Fonseca maybe, but that's 2075. That is quite late on. But yeah, Idrissa Gueye is probably the last one that I certainly recognise there. But no, that is where we're going to leave it. Thank you for all the support on the series so far. If you have enjoyed that, make sure you leave a like down below. It does help out. It means a lot to me as well. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching and goodbye.